Hello and welcome to this week's Saturday Evening Cocktail. I know it's Friday night, but I gotta get down to business. It is the first Saturday in May tomorrow. You know what that means. Best Saturday in May. It's Kentucky Derby weekend. I hope this Kentucky Derby weekend finds you well. My favorite weekend. This might be my favorite video of the year because it's time for a cocktail, and you know it's time for my Kentucky Derby picks. Hope everybody's doing well. Let's put a cocktail together. I know I've done the mint julep. I've done a few cocktails for Kentucky Derby. You know what? I was reading in the cocktail journals, as they say, that I guess that the Spritzers are the cocktail for the spring. So we're gonna do kind of a spritz. There's one spritz that's going around that involves lemonade and a sparkling lemonade. So we're gonna have some fun with something like that, and we're gonna do some Kentucky Derby style elements to that. So, and I've also done the bourbon smash for the Kentucky Derby. So we're gonna do something very similar. So we are going to take a lemon. All right, we're gonna take a lemon. And we're gonna do some simple syrup. Now, a lot of the stuff you're gonna have at home, so a little bit of simple syrup and a little bit of lemon. And you know it's Kentucky Derby season, so we need some mint. All right, so lemon, syrup, and mint. And we're gonna kind of muddle these things together. All right, let's break down now. When we muddle, particularly muddle the citrus, you get all those nice oils and everything. All right, so everything's gonna kind of come together at the bottom of the glass here. All these extra flavors with a little bit of the simple syrup. If you have nice sugar cubes or something like that, that would be even better, as the flavors would evolve together. Now, these particular spritzes that they're making, they're done with vodkas. Seen it recently. I don't care for vodka drinks all too much. I do it with gin, but hey, it's Kentucky Derby weekend. We're actually gonna do it with bourbon. We're gonna do a bourbon cocktail. So I'm gonna take an ounce and a half. I got a Kentucky bourbon for Kentucky Derby weekend. It's a small batch bourbon. So we're gonna have some fun with this. Ounce and a half of bourbon. And I'm gonna do some limoncello for this one, all right? Haven't done this in a cocktail very often. 3/4 ounce. And we're just kinda eyeballing, having some fun with this, all right? So we've got some bourbon. We've got limoncello. We've got a little bit of simple syrup. We've got a little bit of, we've got some lemon, some muddled lemon. I'm gonna put a splash of triple sec. And I'm going to, and there's my bar spoon right here. Stir these elements together, just like this. And this is gonna be sort of a light and friendly and airy sort of cocktail, spritzer. Now, I'm gonna top it off with some crushed ice. Just like this. And again, let's stir it up together here. And lastly, I have this San Pellegrino lemonade, which is a nice fizzy lemonade, right on top. As much or as little as you like. And again, give it one final stir as to not lose all the bubbles. And we are gonna garnish with a wedge of lemon right around. And we are going to give a sprig of mint. And there we go. Kind of a lemonade, bourbon, spritzer kind of thing for Kentucky Derby Day. That balances out all nicely. Probably drink a few of these, watch the horses, and I know you came for the drinks. You're staying for the picks. As always, I am not a professional handicapper. I'm barely even that good. But, as I always say, there's only one way to the window, and we're going to try and get you there, all right? I've been studying these horses. Time to put on the hat, all right? This is from Boston Scally Company. They don't sponsor me, but everybody should get one of these hats, all right? Time to put on the hat. Time to get some picking. Time to bring out the big board, all right? Kentucky Derby picks. And if you're reading ahead of me, I'm going to get closer to camera here. I got my notes too, all right? If you're reading ahead of me, you're going to see what my pick is, all right? So, the way we break this down is I have my horses that you got to keep. I got my horses you can't forget. And I got my horses you got to get rid of. And if they beat us, so be it. They got to beat us. So the ones you got to keep, all right? I try to narrow it down as best I can. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 horses you got to keep in order, all right? They're not in order of pick them, in order of number picking them. As you can see, you got Commandment at the 6. Dan and Bourbon at the 7. All right. The Puma at the 9. Incredibolt at the 11. Chief Wallaby, my favorite, at the 12. Emerging Market at the 15. And Further Ado at the 18. I think any of your winning has to come out of there, okay? My 3 favorites out of those are the 6, the 12, and the 18. I think that my least favorite is Incredibolt out of there. My horses that you can't forget, these ones you gotta sometimes consider sneaking into your exotics, all right? 1, Renegade, and really the problem there is that the fact that Renegade is in the 1, probably the strongest of those, probably your 2 strongest there are the 1 and the 10 Wonder Dean. That one can really sneak in. I think that the fact that it's had to fly half across the world is the biggest problem there, all right? Litmus Test is another one, probably drop that one down some. So Happy, you got to worry about that one. As well as Potentate, Pavlovian, and Golden Tempo. You can't forget about Golden Tempo, all right? I would push that one up a little bit. Okay, I call these ones the Super Destroyers, the ones that got to sneak into your Superfecta and kind of mess you up a little bit. Okay, and then there are the ones you got to drop, all right? These are the ones you got to do for your birthday picks. Otherwise, if they beat you, so be it, all right? That's the 2, the 3, the 17, the 21, the 22, and the 23, of course. Albero, Inchepido, 6-speed, and of course the scratch ads, a Great White, Ocelli, and Robusto. Of course, Great White is apparently a giant of a horse, some kind of Clydesdale-looking kind of horse. That one can do some damage, so if he gets in there. My singles, all right? Again, my favorite horses are Further Ado, but Chief Wallaby is my absolute favorite. Okay, so when I'm thinking exactas, my faded out a little bit. My exact is 12 and 18. All right, my dog picked 12 and 14 together. And she walked across. She walked across on that one there. All right. So when you're looking at exactas, you see what I got here. Most of them have 12. If you don't like Chief Wallaby, there's some knocks on Chief Wallaby. A little bit of focus issues. All right, that's kind of my spirit horse there. Some focus issues. If you don't want to put Wallaby in your exactas, go 1-6, go 9-18, go 14-18. Okay, but I think, you're probably looking at the 18 or the 12's got to be in somewhere. Okay, your trifectas, that's what I think is going on down here. I don't got to call them out to you. 1-6-18, 12-6-18. If you don't want to put the 12 or the 18 in them, watch out for 11-7-14. All right, my superfecta. 4 of these horses, 7, 9, 12, 15, 18. I think the superfecta is going to be hidden in this combination somewhere. A new feature this year, the AI. I asked 3 different AIs to give me a trifecta ticket. Grok says 6, 15, 18. Perplexity says 6, 18, 1. And Cloud says 18, 9, 8. I did the work, so you don't have to. And finally, my favorite bet of the year. I've hit it a few years now. The Bet All Bomb Diggity, all right? So what you do is you pick the races before the Derby. You pick the horses you like, and you put them in a daily double or a pick 3 with a bet on the Kentucky Derby. You hit the first one or you hit the first 2. You wait for the money to roll in on the Derby, all right? So in the 11th race, the race before the Derby, I like Rhetorical. That's a 6 horse. Then Bet All on the Derby. Boom! If you want to go 2, spend a little bit more money, I like Disruptor or Knightsbridge in the 10th, in the 11th, Rhetorical, and then Bet All on the Derby. Bomb! Everybody, don't bet more than you can afford to lose. Have fun with it. Bet on yourselves. Say your prayers. Take care of the people you love. Call the people you love. Cheers. Happy Derby weekend, everybody.